Well, g'day everyone and welcome back to our special Wednesday night edition of Trip for Two Australia, where we share some tips and tricks for you to use when you get out on the road. Tonight's episode is all about saving water on the road and prolonging your time off grid. So why don't you go and get yourself a tall glass and come and join us. Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Alison.
We decided a couple of years ago that we'd work hard and save all of our money and start living life on our own terms.
So we bought a caravan and hit the road on a trip for two all around Australia.
So why not come and join us every week for our adventures? Alright, as we said in the intro, today's episode is all about saving water when you want to go off-grid for a longer period of time. You only have a very infinite amount of water. In our case, we have two 95 litre tanks underneath the caravan. That comes up to 190 litres of water. That's only worth about 160 usable litres to us, and I'll show you that as we go along and how we monitor that. But I think today's episode is really about how we can extend our stay off grid. Ali and I have a goal every day of using 20 litres, and that's a hard goal to meet. You need to practice to get there, but you can certainly get there, and that's covering everything. That's from brushing our teeth, making a cup of coffee or coffees throughout the course of the day, our drinking water, showering, flushing the toilet. Everything that you use water for inside of a caravan will be included in today's episode, and the sorts of things that Ali and I do to prolong our trip and save our water. Okay, we just filled up our tanks with water, as you saw here at the Catherine farm. So what a great place, Al.
It is wonderful.
You're going to see that in upcoming episodes, so I'm not going to give anything away at this stage here. But once we've topped the tanks up, the first thing Alison gets on to me about, because I forget this all the time, is to come and get my Topogy flow meter back the way where it should be, because I always forget to do it. And when I don't top it up, we have no idea how much water we got inside the caravan, or it just starts beeping at me to tell me that we're empty. Then I have no idea what we've got. So to top them up, they're really, really simple. All I do is I just open up the app and I go into the water volume and I just put the settings. So I'll set it to 160 litres, hit save, and then it just tops itself off. All right, so we now have 160 litres of water in the caravan. But some of you will be wondering, oh, hang on, you've got two 95 litre tanks inside that caravan. That adds up to 190 litres of water. Why are you only putting in 160?
That was going to be my question. Why isn't it 190 litres that
we're
putting in?
When we first fitted our Topogy flow meter, after we filled up all the tanks, we run the water through the van a couple of times just to test it, and the most water we could get back out was 160 litres of water. And the reason for that is because you've always got water in pipes, you've always got water inside your hot water system, and there's water you just can't get out of the bottom of your tanks. So for us, the average use is 160, so that's where we set it, so that way we would never run out of water when we're off grid. But sometimes, depending on which way the van's sitting, it might be a little bit over to the right, a little bit over to the left. Sometimes we get a little bit more water, sometimes we get a little bit less water, don't we?
Yes, it's a good safety measure.
It is. It gives you a really good, accurate idea of how much water you're using, but more importantly, how much you might be wasting. Alison's promised you she's not going to lower the camera down any further. Tip number one, the shower. All we do, shower on. Now, fellas, you've got to toughen up for this one because the first blast is cold. Oh, yeah. All right. So just enough to wet yourself. Once we're wet, we turn it off, we soap up, and then after we soaped up, we simply just rinse off. So obviously ways to save water when you're showering is to do exactly as I showed you there, or limit your shower to a time, or just use cold water. That really quickens it up. That's cold. Okay, the next one I want to talk about, number two, is drinking water, and this is probably the most important one. We need to drink every single day, and we ingest water in a number of different ways, either by the glass or by the coffee or by the tea or whatever it is that you drink. Either way, we need to make sure that our water source is safe. Ali and I have seen people fill up at the dump point, not from the dump point, but they've used the hose at the dump point. That is generally not potable water. Please do not do that. Find potable water, read reviews on wiki camps, all those sorts of things. You can generally work it out pretty quick for yourself. Go to Winton, have a sniff of the water, you'll know what not to drink. But what we like to do is take a lot of the question out of that, and we simply go out and buy ourselves the cubes of water, like you can see this one here, or we buy the 24 packs of water, and that way we always know that we've got safe, reliable water on hand, and it's not making a big indentation into the tanks that are below the caravan. The other thing that we do is we do boil our water, but you just need to keep in mind that boiling water does not necessarily kill all of the germs that might be inside of that water. But very, very important, need to make sure you've got clean, fresh drinking water on board the caravan all of the time. The next area we identified as being something as a major water user throughout the course of our day is washing up. Now, when we're off-grid, Ali and I tend to only wash up once a day. We put all the plates to one side, we do it in one hit at the end of the night, and we monitor how much water we've put into the sink, initially through our app, but now we know where we need to go to. So about 2 litres is the right amount of water for us. Is enough water in the sink to make sure that our plates and cutlery, etc., is thoroughly cleaned, but not to overuse the water that we're putting in there. Ali does, however, like to rinse all the glasses to get rid of the detergent off them. That's fair enough. We don't waste a lot of water doing that. So I've just popped into our bathroom, and here's another area in the caravan where you can waste a lot of water. What I mean by that is people like to leave the tap running when they're like washing their hands or when they're brushing their teeth. No need to do that. Obviously, just use the water that you need to use, particularly when you're washing your hands. Tap on, tap off, soap up, tap back on, rinse off, and away you go. I'm not going to show you how to flush a toilet. You all know how to do that. But what I will say is that if you want to reduce the water that you use through a toilet, and they do use quite a bit, is you can maybe consider putting in a composting toilet into your caravan. For Ali and I, we'd rather flush it than churn it, but that's a personal choice. And then finally, brushing your teeth. I always used to be really bad at this. I used to leave the tap running at home while I was brushing my teeth. No need to do that. Simply, you know, wet your toothbrush. You know how to brush your teeth. Brush your fangs, and then just rinse your toothbrush off when you're done. Rinse your mouth out. All good. Just while I'm still in the bathroom, I thought I'd have a quick talk to the fellas about shaving. Now, I know I'm guilty of not shaving every single day, and my mum certainly lets me know when I haven't shaved for quite a while and I appear on the YouTube. But yeah, that's the way that it is when you live on the road. But what I did when we first went on the road is I brought back some of the things we used to do when I was in the army, just to save some water, and I went and bought myself a shaving mug. So there's one there. And all I do for shaving water is after we've had coffee in the morning, the little bit of water that's left in the kettle, what I do is I just pour it into the cup, and then I just take the heat out of it, a little bit of cold water, and then I got a shaving brush, and away I go. So pretty simple procedure. I use less than a half a cup of water to shave on the days that I do shave, but it certainly saves a lot of water inside the caravan. And the last area of water that I'd like to talk about is just our maintenance water. So the stuff that we use to wash our solar panels, to clean our shower and our bathroom, and all those little jobs that you do around the caravan. We do those about once a week. Sometimes do them a little bit more often, particularly if you're in dusty areas and the solar panels are copying a hammering from dust, because if your solar panels aren't clean, they're not going to bring in as much power as what you need to put inside of your batteries. And the other thing that I do once a week, or if we've been down really gravelly, rocky sorts of roads, is I poke my head underneath the caravan. I have a quick look at our water tanks just to make sure we haven't had a rock strike or something like that might have created a leak, because we're going to lose water pretty quick that way as well. And finally, the other things that Ali and I do when we're off grid to preserve water is we bring a couple of jerrys with us. So I've got two 22-litre jerrys on the back of the caravan. We fill those up and we put those into the van, particularly for off grid for a long period of time. And if we need to resup water into the caravan, all I do is just drive into town, because generally they're not too far away, fill those up, bring it back out, and put them back into the caravan. But other than that, that's pretty much all we do. That's it for our tips and tricks for saving water when you're living off-grid on the road. Have you got anything you'd like to add, Al?
We do make use of our Topogy app on Steve's phone to see where we're at with our water. It's a good gauge to see how we're doing with our water consumption while we're off-grid. We also use it to see how much we have left in our tanks when we're about to move to the next location. And we'll then go and have a look at like wiki camps to see where we can get our next lot of water, and whether it's at the place or close to the place, and the quality of the water, as Steve was saying earlier, that's pretty important. And if we've got a lot of water left in our tanks, then we might take that opportunity to do a load of washing, or have long hair, so you know, a hair wash day doesn't go astray either. So that's the other way we probably make better use of our water while off grid.
Yeah, we never used to use our washing machine. We're off grid before, but thanks to a couple of viewers at home who watch our channel for their tips on how to use your washing machine when you're off grid, because no one ever told us before, did they?
I had heard about the wool wash, but we hadn't really done anything about it. So their comments really prompt us to make a change, and it's been quite helpful.
It has. We've reduced our water usage through the washing machine off grid from about, I think we're using about 60 litres at some point there, down to somewhere between 15 and 20, which is much more manageable. But as Alison said, we only do it on the last day when we're leaving, and we know we're going to another area where we can get some water back into the caravan.
And it helps with our fuel consumption too. If we lower the tanks down to pretty much nothing, it helps with the fuel as well. So everyone's a winner.
It certainly does. Well, if you like tonight's episode, please hit the like button. If you've got any questions or comments, hit us up in the comments section. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please consider doing so, because it allows our channel to grow. We'll see you on Saturday at 9 o'clock for our normal travel vlog. I don't know where we are this week, Al.
I'm not sure either. I've lost track of where we've been.
We might be on the sculpture trail. Anyway, we'll see you at 9 o'clock Saturday. So you guys have yourselves a great week. We'll see you then.
See you later.
Bye-bye.